Hello everybody, this is Andrea, one of the riggers, and I'm just gonna explain kind of what's going on with the wings and try to elicit some suggestions, especially if any of you know 3D Studio Max. I say that because, as you can see, this feather setup looks pretty awesome, and I'll go through here a little bit. I found this on the internet, and it works really well and looks wonderful. Again, but it's in 3D Studio Max. I'll send this link along so everyone can take a look at it if they want. It's only 6 minutes long. Basically, what this setup is here, let me click to the end. There we go. Basically, each feather has a bend and a wave. The bend is how it rotates from the end, which is it basically determining between these 2 points, and then it has a bias. So, goes between these 2 points and then also adds on that bias. So it spreads out all nice and evenly. And then it has the wave, which determines how it bends this direction. These middle controllers control, obviously, the middle, how far up or down. And then there are these little ones inside the big controllers, which control just the ends. So you could, tip the feathers, get them moving any sort of direction. With the kind of mythical feel that we have for the film, I think it would work really well because obviously they're not exactly supposed to work exactly like birds' feathers do. They're supposed to look kind of nice and mythical. As you can see, like this. So yes, 3D Studio Max. There's apparently something called Flex, which is similar but not the same to the Jiggle Deformer in Maya. These purple cords that you see are being affected by this Flex modifier, which is based on the rotation of these joints here, which are the base of the feather, or the base of the wing, sorry. And so as it goes through, as you can see, also this is wind, so it's being affected by both the joints and a wind, which you can animate depending if you want it strong wind or not strong wind. And as you can see, it creates this awesome, automatically, dynamically, it creates the feathers and how they spread. And then you can also use the controls at the end if you want to get further spreading or compacting. So it's both dynamic and hand animatable so that you can get the perfect look that you want. This looks really great, and if everyone agrees with me, I think this is what we want to try to get going, because it looks great. So I'll show you what I have so far, and if anyone has any suggestions on how we might accomplish this in Maya as opposed to 3D Studio Max, please let me know. I have a trial copy of 3D Max, and it's not going too well because I just don't know how to use it. Trying to see how, everything transfers between the 2 programs, and it's not working. This is the first setup that I have. Basically, this is the jiggle. And as you can see, definitely doesn't look like how it's supposed to look in that other video. Obviously, we could try messing with the settings more, which I have already done somewhat, but it's starting to get there, but it doesn't affect the whole thing. The shoulder isn't rotating, so this first section isn't going to be jiggling. Again, also, in Maya, you cannot add forces, as in like gravity or wind, into jiggle, so that would be something that the animators would have to hand animate if we do go with the jiggle. The second version that I have is Ncloth, which can be affected by gravity. This one is not. It is currently just being point to surface constrained to that piece of geometry, which is just bound to the joints like the arm is. And it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I think if we could use Ncloth, there we go, but not have it point constrained like this, it would work really well. Not quite sure how to do that yet, but I'm sure we could figure it out so that it would move with the arm, but it could also move completely freely without being constrained like this. I think could work pretty well. And again, you can apply wind to it, so we could have it pretty dynamic. And then the third one that I have is just a NURBS curve in the shape of kind of how the feathers are going to be. And these are just clustered, and this is probably the most manual way if we want to do it this way. The clusters are in groups which are parent constrained to either the shoulder or the elbow, and they move. They work pretty well. As you can see in this one, you can also select the clusters and hand animate them by putting keys on them, and they will still move in the general movement of the arm. Could work, won't be dynamic. The animators would have to pretty much do everything by hand. We could SDK it so that it would spread and contract pretty well. So obviously the animators wouldn't have to do everything by hand, just any sort of wind movement or anything like that would have to be that way. So this would probably be the easiest, the least heavy on the rigs, but pretty manual. And then this one, if we can get the end cloth working without being constrained, would look pretty awesome. Would be a little bit slow, especially in animating it, because end cloth just makes the system run slow. And then this one, the jiggle, if we can figure out some way to get the jiggle looking properly, that would be the most similar to this system, but it wouldn't be affected by the wind, so that would have to be manual as well. So if anyone has any ideas, I'm not exactly stuck. I still have some ideas to play with, but I would appreciate any sort of ideas anyone has. So there you go. Thanks.